Hello and welcome to another edition of An English Guy Watching Wrestling. I'm the English Guy, I'm Nick. Thank you so much for clicking on another video, I really do appreciate it. And in this one we're going to be covering the third, I'm sure it's the third, get it right, after last one. Yes, 3rd of March edition 2021 of AEW Dynamite. And crazy show this week to be honest, but a very good show. With that being said, let's get right into it. Opening match was a mixed tag match, not very many of those to see in AEW, of Jade Cargill and Shaquille O'Neal, yes, that's right, versus Red Velvet and Cody Rhodes. And this was an in-ring debut for both Jade Cargill and Shaquille O'Neal. Of course, Shaquille O'Neal, basketball legend, everyone knows who he is, one of the most recognizable athletes on the planet. Teaming with Jade Cargill making an AEW debut in-ring, that is, against Red Velvet, who's really starting to rise in the ranks of AEW. I'm really glad to see it because she's got a lot of talent. And of course, Cody Rhodes, one of the very best there is. And this was a matchup that was talked about by a lot of people in social media and a lot of other places because, doing something they've never seen before with Shaquille O'Neal in the ring. I've never seen him in a wrestling match before. But I tell you what, he held his own very well, to be fair. He didn't do too much, but of course, he's not a professional wrestler. But not to say he didn't do very well, because I think he did. And overall, this was actually a very good match. Jade Cargill, very, very cocky in her attitude in the ring, but she did very, very well in her debut as well. And of course, Red Velvet, I think this was her best performance in AEW to date. And she's had some good performances, each year. And of course, Cody Rhodes is always reliable. And they didn't do the situation when it was woman versus man, because Red Velvet versus Shaq would have been a very big height difference. But sometimes, I mean, they did one tag. I think they've ever done one other. No, they've done more than one mixed tag match. The tag match they did, which was Riho and Kenny Omega versus Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, I think they did on international waters, so they could get away with it. When you could have Riho versus Kip Sabian or Penelope Ford versus Kenny Omega, I think they did on international waters, so they can get away with it, or it was not restricted by laws because they're at sea. I'm not sure, but it was a very interesting concept at the time, and this was too, to be fair. And I enjoyed this match, and Shaq took a crazy bump when Cody Rhodes leapt of him, because Shaq is much taller than I remember, because I think I've seen him in person, when he did a crossbody over the top rope while Shaq was stood holding the ropes through 2 tables on the floor. That was crazy. And I really enjoyed that spot. And it got a lot of people talking there too. And as I said, this was actually a very good match, to be fair. I was surprised of how much I enjoyed this. I wasn't saying I wasn't going to enjoy it, but this one really took me by surprise. And Jade Cargill looks like she belongs in the ring too. This was a very good opening match, to what was actually overall a very good edition of Dynamite. So thumbs up to all 4 involved for being part of something like this. And this is only going to elevate, hopefully, Red Velvet more and more and more. And Jade Cargill as well said her first in-ring match in AEW. So there you go. Next match was Rey Fénix and Pac versus Skylar and I don't think it says it, the guy's name. No, it didn't. Anyway, it was a squash match. Simple as that. It was a 2 jobbers versus Rey Fénix and Pac. A bit surprising because I think Rey Fénix and Pac are part of the Tag Team Battle Royale now. So I understand that they get a tag match, but very, very quick match. Pac won with a 450 splash. That's it, really. So there you go. And the next match was FTR and Tully Blanchard versus Jurassic Express. Tully Blanchard's first match in 30 years. And Tully Blanchard is always considered to be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and I've seen his old school stuff, and he was as good as they come. Obviously, not as quick as he used to be, but it's no knocking him because he did very, very well in this match. Again, this was a superb 6-man tag match, and the finish was a very good finish too, which I'll get to in a minute. But Tully did a lot of cool stuff. Obviously the Tully Blanchard of old, you saw little pieces of there as well. And of course, FTR, you're not going to get anything wrong with them because they're arguably the best wrestling tag team in the world at the minute. And not saying that others aren't, but these 2 are really, really good. And of course, Jurassic Express are the most likable, if not the most likable trio in all of AEW. Again, held their own. Luchasaurus put in a fantastic match here. So did Jungle Boy. Marco Stunt didn't see that much of, but not to say he didn't do very well as well. But this was a very good match. And the finish was a finish that I think was out of nowhere, but also kind of cool. During the match, a guy at ringside, wearing an AEW hoodie and a mask and a beanie, got knocked into. and people thought it was a cameraman at first. Later on, he came up to the ring, got involved, took off the beanie and the mask. Happened to be Sean Spears, who we haven't seen in AEW for a while, but of course is mentored in AEW by Tully Blanchard. Very unique finish to see, and I did not see it coming, to be fair. But that's the kind of thing you like to see in wrestling. Little things there, here and there, you don't expect to see. So, definite thumbs up to that finish. And what was actually a very good six-man tag match, to be fair. I enjoyed this one. Tully Blanchard, it was good to see him back in the ring after 30 years. But not to say he couldn't do great stuff, because he did. So, this was fun stuff. So, really, really cool. Next match was my match of the night, to be fair. Mezzonami versus Naida Rose in the AEW Eliminator Women's Championship Tournament. Now, the winner of this match will go on to face Hikaru Shida at Revolution this Sunday. And this is the first ever time meeting between these two ladies. And even though I think they've been on the same card, I'm not too sure. I know obviously Naida Rose has Japanese experience. But this was a superb match. And I really enjoyed what both women brought. And they kind of went the extra mile considering what they've done in their careers. Mezzonami, has been around for so long. I think over 15 years experience. Naida Rose not as long, but she can still go. Two of the strongest women in the tournament really went at it in this match, but there was some really good wrestling involved too, considering the size of each woman. They're both very, very strong, as I said. They really held their own, and this was a superb way to end what has been overall a fantastic tournament. I've really enjoyed watching it this first ever time AEW have ever done this. Especially from the Joshi side, obviously, which Mezzonami is from. The American side, AEW side, where Naida Rose is from. They just clashed. And it worked superbly. And Ryu Mezzonami won the match, surprisingly. I was half expecting Naida Rose to win, too, because it would have been a trilogy match. It would have been a third match between Naida Rose and Hikaru Shida. But, of course, that's not going to be the case now. But I really am looking forward to this match at Revolution. I think this is going to be a very good match between these two. I think they faced each other before, but never on American soil. So I'm really looking forward to see what both women will bring. And I wouldn't be... Joshi female wrestlers have been in AEW before. I wouldn't mind seeing more of it. This was really, really good stuff. And this was an excellent match as the top of what has been a superb tournament. And thumbs up to both ladies, put on a very, 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 very good match. So really couldn't fault this one. Next match was a Face of the Revolution qualifier match. Now, the winner of this match would be part of the ladder match at Revolution to determine the number one contender for the AEW TNT Championship. Dark Order's number 10 versus Max Caster. Now, it was a very unusual match because I do like both men. I think they're really, really good. And I'll say this opportunity to Anthony Bowens, who's got an injury right now, quick recovery, which is why Max Caster is wrestling alone right now. He's not part of the acclaim with Anthony Bowens because Anthony is injured. So quick recovery, hopefully it's Anthony Bowens because I do like the acclaim. But not to say Max isn't holding his own as a singles wrestler right now, because he is. And he won the match thanks to interference from Jack Evans. Now, as you know, if you're watching AEW, Matt Hardy has kind of had a thing to take out all members of the Dark Order, and he's been paying guys like the Hybrid 2. Obviously, he's got a Private Party under his banner, shall we say. And of course, tried to get Hangman Page, didn't work out. And after that, of course, Hangman Page and the Dark Order have had kind of a friendship in AEW. It's just been thoroughly entertaining to watch. If you watch Being the Elite, you'll know what I'm talking about. But this was actually a good match, to be fair. And I really think these two are perhaps maybe the futures of AEW because both men showed what they could do. And you don't really see many of them, both of them on Dynamite, to be honest. And this was a very, very good match between two future stars, I'm going to say. And, of course, Max Caster won the match, which means he'll be the fifth entrant into the ladder match. The sixth one is yet to be announced, but will be announced at the pay-per-view. So there's, of course, one or two people wondering who it could be. I honestly have no idea. And also, Paul White is obviously made his debut in AEW. This week's Dynamite. Said they've signed someone who will be announced at the pay-per-view. I thought that's the person announced that's been signed is going to be part of the ladder match. No. So we're going to get two debuts at the pay-per-view. Now, I'm not sure if the signed person will be at the pay-per-view, but they're going to be announced. Obviously, the sixth person in the ladder match will be revealed. It's going to be interesting to see who it is. It could be anybody, to be honest. I mean, I do have one man in mind, and that is Speedball Mike Bailey. Who, if it is, that's going to be absolutely amazing, because Mike Bailey is one of the greatest in the world. If you've ever seen him, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He's unsigned. You never know. AEW is starting to sign more and more people right now. I'm not saying the sixth person will be signed, but it's interesting to see who it's going to be. But all eyes point to Revolution this Sunday. It's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to covering it too. So, again, but going back to this match, very, very good from both men. So, keep up the good work, you two. AEW is bright for you. So the future is bright for you, I should say. And the Queen's to the main event. It was Matt Hardy and Mark Quinn versus John Silva and Hangman Adam Page. Now, of course, this Sunday, a Revolution, Hangman Adam Page is teaming. Hangman Page is facing Matt Hardy in the big money match. Something I've never thought I'd see, but we're going to see it. The winner of the match will get the first quarter earnings of the opponents for 2021. So obviously, if Matt Hardy wins, he's going to get Hangman Page's money. Hangman Page wins, he's going to get Matt Hardy's money. And since Matt Hardy is doing this gimmick right now, if he loses, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. But not to say this wasn't a good tag match, because it was a very good tag match. And very cool to see John Silva tagging with Hangman Page. John Silva doesn't really tag with many other people apart from the Dark Order. Obviously, part of the regular tag team with Andrew Reynolds. But this was actually a very good tag match. I enjoyed it. And Hangman Page, again, showing just how good he is. And John Silva, he's got to be one of the most lovable wrestlers in all of wrestling. Johnny Hungry, as they called him, and also one of the strongest, too. And I really enjoyed the other side of it, too. Matt Hardy saying to Mark Quinn, do most of it, because I'm pain and all that. And of course, Hangman Page and John Silva took full advantage of that. And when the pinfall happened, when Hangman Page hit the buckshot lariat, of course, he looked right to Matt Hardy as he was covering and says, this could be your future. It was such a great moment to top off what was actually a very good episode of Dynamite. And I'm going to close by saying this. I saw this one announced, and I thought it's going to be a very unusual night in AEW Dynamite history, because obviously Tony Blanchard returning to the ring after 30 years, Shaquille O'Neal making his in-ring wrestling debut in Dynamite. Both matches really, really good. And I couldn't fault I said before, AEW have had a great year so far. They've been leading the charge, I think. I'm not going to say anything about any other promotions, but I think AEW, I've been watching other places, but AEW are starting to rise and rise and rise, and they've been, I think, at the top this year. They've had a fantastic 2021 so far, and I think it's just going to get stronger and stronger. And continue this week, obviously, with the amazing Revolution pay-per-view. And I believe AEW Dark is online before that, so I'll be covering that first, and then obviously covering Revolution. I'm not 100% sure about that, but we'll find out what happens. But so that tops off what has been a very fun episode of Dynamite this week. So keep on firing on all cylinders, AEW, so I'm going to say. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. I will see everyone next time. So until that time, take care, everyone. See ya.